So a few weeks ago in my last video, I said that I was interested in doing more true crime content. So I'm going into my last year of uni. I'm doing my bachelor's degree in criminology and sociology with law, and I want to put my degree to a good use. And what better way than doing something that I love? Content creation. I also said that I'm interested in covering perpetrators that happen to be kids, hence why I'm announcing my new series, Killer Kids. So this is the official second part, as I covered the Slenderman stabbing, which is a very interesting case involving two 12-year-old girls who hatched a plot to eliminate their best friend in order to appease the fictional horror character Slenderman. I highly recommend that you check out that video if you wish. So for the rest of the series, I'm going to be choosing interesting and bizarre cases involving children and young adults, and I'll be covering them here on this channel. Some videos will have like multiple cases and a winner, and others might be specific to one particular case. So I've chosen 3 cases for today's video. If you do enjoy it, please do what you can to engage with my channel, as I'm trying to grow as much as I can and get monetized by this time that I graduate next year. There is a trigger warning for what you're about to hear, and this video should be watched with discretion. So without further ado, let's get into the first case. On the 29th of May 2024 at approximately 4:40 AM, a hit and run was called into police in Albuquerque, New Mexico. 63-year-old Scott Dwight Habermill had been struck by a vehicle while biking on his way to work. At first, the case went cold after the police investigated and had no leads. However, it is a post made on the social media site Instagram that shows how the event unfolded. So the video was uploaded by an 11-year-old child and was captured from inside the vehicle that struck Scott Habermill. So the initial 911 caller first believed that the victim was a woman, but once police arrived on scene they found an older male lying in the street, and at first glance they could tell that his injuries were severe.
911 emergency.
Hi, I'm headed to work and someone got hit on a bicycle. It's a lady, she's on the side of the road.
Did a vehicle hit her?
I'm not too sure, I just kind of was coming southbound. I was going to work and I saw the bike, it's in the middle of the road, and she's on the side of the road.
Is she moving at all?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
She's kind of facing the other way. I don't know if she's okay. She looks like she would be okay because she's kind of like curled up a little bit. I just really don't want to like get out and look at her though, you know?
Yeah, no, I understand. Does the bike look like it got damaged?
Yeah, the bike is mangled. Like it's pretty twisted up.
So he was identified after the police found an ID badge on him and he was rushed to the hospital for life-saving treatments. Sadly though, Scott lost his battle. He suffered a skull fracture and multiple facial fractures as a result. So later on, another call comes into 911, what appeared to be from the same woman that reported the incident initially.
Police Department Operator 4187, how can I help you?
Yes, this morning I reported a hit and run on a bicyclist, and I actually have some more information. I was able to pull some video footage from the church that I work at, and we actually saw him getting hit, but it's a little grainy, but it might be helpful.
In CCTV footage, you can see the flashing light from Scott's bicycle between the trees before you see bright headlights from a vehicle speeding up behind him. So unfortunately, police were unable to identify the registration plate of the vehicle due to the footage being too grainy, or even identify the make or model. The next morning, at around 7:30 in the morning, a silver Hyundai sedan was found abandoned not far from the crime scene. So it was visibly damaged and had been reported stolen as well. But on September 24th, the case was considered cold. And it wasn't until an anonymous tip came in February of 2025 that the case was picked back up again. So the police were directed to an Instagram account where a video of the incident appeared, taken from inside the stolen car that hit and killed Scott. Police were absolutely horrified to discover that the account was owned by an 11-year-old boy by the name of Messiah. This was not the only criminating video posted on his account though. Upon further investigation, dozens of images and videos were found on the child's account. Some included him brandishing a loaded weapon, there was thefts, Grand Theft Auto, firing a gun on the street, joyriding in stolen vehicles, crashing vehicles, and even smoking a Kia by shooting at it. In the video of the fatal crash, Messiah is in the front passenger seat waving around a gun. 2 other teenage boys are also shown in the video, 15-year-old William Garcia and 13-year-old Jonathan Overby. A 4th person can be heard inside the car as well. I do have this video which I will show leading up to the moment that Scott is hit, but I do have to of course warn you guys about the disturbing nature of this video.
Are you guys recording me?
Yeah.
God, nigga, you got Paul.
So,
You ready to start popping it? Hurry up before that nigga starts.
they gonna hit him hella fast, nigga. Just bump him, bruh.
Like, you like bump him?
Yeah, just bump him. Go like
Like
15, 20.
So all three boys were arrested in March of 2025. Police also found further videos of mischief and criminality on the other boys' accounts as well. On March 21st, another tip comes in identifying the fourth teen in the car as 15-year-old Elijah Engelking. His voice was identified in the video of him saying "bump him." On June 11th, 2025, Elijah was indicted by a grand jury on charges of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and knowingly leaving the scene of an accident resulting in death. He entered a plea of not guilty. Jonathan was charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, leaving the scene of an accident involving great bodily harm or death, and unlawful carrying of a handgun by a person under age 19. He instead pled guilty to second-degree murder and will remain in juvenile detention until age 21. William Garcia was charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and his case was transferred to adult court. Then 11-year-old Messiah, he may be too young for criminal prosecution. I was unable to find any information as to whether or not he was in fact charged with an open count of murder or not. We don't know. It's very clear that these boys are like wannabe gangsters, and the lack of parenting is just absolutely abysmal. I believe that if they think they're so grown, like joyriding in stolen cars at 4 AM, waving guns and committing crimes, that they should be treated and charged as so, as adults. So our next case is a bit of an eerie one. So in 1968, 11-year-old Mary Bell was apprehended by police after the bodies of two young boys were found in Newcastle, which is in England, by the way, if you don't know. So the two victims were 4-year-old Martin Brown and 3-year-old Brian Hill. Their bodies were found just 2 months apart, one in May and the other in July. So at first, Martin's death is ruled accidental, as nobody knows it's another child that's behind this tragedy. Nobody would have suspected it, like, at all. Normally, at that age, children are like outside playing with dolls, not killing people. Martin had no reason to fear Mary either. He thought that they were going to play a game, but instead she lay him down on the ground and told him she was going to make his throat better before strangling him to death. It was actually a construction worker that found his lifeless body in an old rundown house and, of course, reported it. 2 days after the murder, Mary actually went to go visit Martin's grieving mother. When she opened the door, Mary said she was here to see Martin, and his mother said that he'd passed away. Mary then replied, "Oh, I know he's dead. I want to see him in his coffin," which is so eerie to think about. She even had a diary in which she drew pictures of the scene and Martin's lifeless body as well, the way that he was laying. And then she wrote a creepy message saying, "I'm murder, so I may come back." 2 months later, she goes out and she does it again. Mary was already known to be like quite a bully with the other kids. She would regularly torment and beat up local kids. So when she came across 3-year-old Brian playing in the street, she took her opportunity to kill him again. This time she had a friend with her though, 13-year-old Norma Bell. Once again, she strangles Brian to death after telling him she wants to play a game. This time, however, Mary tends to become more violent and even brandishes a signature. So she takes a pair of scissors and cuts the initials MN into Brian's stomach. And then she tried to cut off Brian's private parts, perhaps as a clue to her own sick home life. Now, you may wonder, of course, what caused Mary to become this way. Well, Mary's mother, Betty, was a well-known prostitute, and Mary, at such a young age, would see her mother performing these acts, many very violent in nature. So Betty actually made many attempts to abandon her daughter, and once even tried to poison her with pills. Her mother also made Mary perform sexual acts on her clients on a regular basis. It was clear that Mary's mother made her into the killer that she became. So Mary isn't actually caught until her friend Norma admits the murder to police. She doesn't confess straight away, but the evidence is mounting. She was ultimately sentenced to life detention, but after serving just 12 years, she was deemed fit to be released. Now Mary lives her life with a completely new identity, and she also has a child of her own. For our third and final case, I have to give an extra trigger warning, as I do have video of the actual event unfolding. I do have it uncensored, but for this, of course I do have to blur out some parts. This video is very graphic. on the 26th of December 2021, 14-year-old Abel Acosta walked into a convenience store, shot and killed 3 people, injuring 1 more in Garland, Texas. So police identified the victims as 17-year-old Rafael Garcia and 16-year-old Ivan Noyola, who were both involved in a prior conflict with Abel. The third victim, Xavier Gonzalez, was an innocent bystander who was just in the store to buy tacos for his family. At the end of the video, you see Abel get into the back of a white truck that's waiting outside for him. Police identified the getaway driver as Richard Acosta, the shooter's father. He actually turned himself in, and he was convicted of capital murder, and he now serves a life sentence without the possibility of parole for his role in the crime. What's also crazy is that even to this day, Abel has still not been caught. So it's believed that he's been hiding out in Mexico with help from family members. The search continues for the 14-year-old killer. Thoughts and prayers of course go towards the victims' friends and families. It's completely unimaginable what they've had to go through, especially knowing that your loved one is gone at the hands of a child. So I'm working on plenty more true crime content, so if you enjoyed today's video, again please consider subscribing, as it would mean the absolute world, and it would help me a lot on my journey to monetization. So thank you for watching, I'll see you guys in the next one.